Chapter 3. The River with No Bridge. When the path goes quiet, trust the small sounds that show you where to step. The forest thinned into rice paddies stitched with silver canals. Morning light burned the mist off the fields until every blade of grass wore a white edge. Toy walked at an easy pace, cloak brushing his knees, his brown boots thudding softly on the old stone road. Beside him, Riku padded along the crumbling gutter with a half-eaten mango like a medal clamped in his teeth. "You know," Riku said around the fruit, "if we'd stayed in the trees, we could have avoided all this walking." Toy smiled. "And missed the smell of wet fields. The dragonflies tapping the air, the stones warming in the sun." Riku squinted at the road. "Stones don't warm in the sun. They bake, which is what my paws are doing." Toy tilted his head. The breeze carried the clap of cloth from scarecrows, the far chatter of women washing vegetables, and, under it all, the round, patient voice of water. "There's a river ahead," he said, "wide, slow, tired." Riku spat the mango pit into the ditch. "Fine. As long as the river isn't in the mood to drown anyone." The road dipped and ended on a half-crumbled pier. Below, a river curved through the valley, green and heavy as if it had eaten the morning. On the far bank, a small shrine roof shone between cedar trunks. The road should have crossed there. Instead, the space where a bridge belonged was only water and a hush. Riku clambered onto the pier. Someone misplaced an entire bridge. He cupped his hands and shouted, "Hey! Bridge! Come home!" Toy set his bundle down and crouched. Water licked reeds and stones with a sound that said two things at once: welcome and beware. On a leaning post at the end of the pier hung a bell rope. Next to it dangled a wooden sign. Toy reached and traced the raised paint with his fingertips, feeling where the brush had slowed and pressed harder on the curves. "What's it say?" Riku asked. Toy's smile tilted. "Ring once, pay with cucumber." "Cucumber?" Riku blinked. "We're paying tolls in salad now." Footsteps shuffled behind them. An old woman approached, swaying under a woven basket strapped to her back. Her hair was knotted so tight it tugged her eyebrows upward, but the lines of her face were kind. "You'll be ringing that bell until your arms fall off," she said, setting the basket down with a wuff. "No fairy comes when the green child is awake." Toy bowed. "Good morning, ma'am." "The green child?" "Kappa," she whispered, as if the river itself had ears. "Calls himself Yancha. Stole the bridge last spring. Now he sleeps under it like a pillow you can drown on. If you want to cross, you either trick him or feed him. I sell both tricks and food, but food is safer for soft hearts." Riku peered into the basket when she lifted the lid. Inside lay neat rows of cucumbers wrapped in damp cloth. "He stole a bridge," he said. "How do you even steal a bridge?" "Same way a fox steals your path," the old woman replied. "He asked the water to pretend nothing was ever there." She studied the boy with the closed eyes, the simple vest and cloak, the belt buckle polished by thumb. "Where are you headed, child who hears the road so well?" Toy turned his face toward the cedars on the far bank. "The shrine. I want to ask whoever tends it a question." "About your eyes?" she asked gently. Toy lifted one shoulder. "Maybe they will know something about a lullaby I can't remember." She picked a cucumber and pressed it into his hands. "This one's sweet. Tell the green child Kyo sent you. He won't dare cheat you." She winked. "And if he does, smack the dish on his head. Water spills, strength spills. Ancient rule." Riku's ears perked. Tricks and food, I like you already. Kyo shouldered her basket. Fast feet now. The sun makes the river lazy. When she had shuffled away, Riku bounced on the pier. All right, Captain. Do we slice the cucumber into coins? Do we throw it hard? I volunteer you for the throwing. Toy laughed softly. He knelt and with the small knife he kept tucked by his belt, carved 2 careful characters into the cucumber's skin, slowly as if the blade needed to be polite. You can write? Riku asked, hanging upside down from the post to watch. A little, Toy said. The letters are old friends that forgot my face, but they remember my hands. What did you carve? Thank you. He found the bell rope and gave it a single pull. The note rang clear across the water, then thinned into the hot morning. Nothing happened. A dragonfly stitched a lazy letter over the river. A carp broke the surface with a quiet kiss and was gone. Riku drummed a quick beat on the post with his tail. Then the river bulged. Green ripples gathered into a head with hair like wet grass and eyes like polished cucumber seeds. A beak slid up last, blinking. The creature rose until its shoulders showed, thin, wiry, and dripping. Atop its head cupped a shallow dish of water, so full the surface trembled. Kyo's boy, the kappa croaked. His voice sounded like something chewing seaweed. You rang once. Good manners, better than the last ones. He eyed Riku. Is that mango sticky on your tail? Mango is rude. Riku curled his tail away. Your river stole a bridge. Not my river, Yancha sniffed. Me, I borrowed it. Bridge hurt my eyes, hard and straight and always certain. Water is kinder when things are a little lost. He peered at Toy. What do you want, boy who doesn't watch with his eyes? Toy held up the cucumber with the carved thanks. To cross. And to leave this as a gift. The kappa's gaze snagged on the cut letters. He made a small sound, almost embarrassed. Polite food. Very rare. He sniffed the cucumber, then gently placed it on a flat rock as if it were a guest. I can pay more, Toy said. We don't need tricks. Yancha's mouth twitched. Tricks are heavy. Food is light. But I still must ask a toll question. He pointed a webbed finger at Toy's boots. How did you walk the old road without tripping where the stones are loose? By their sound, Toy answered simply. Loose ones click. The tight ones hum. Riku folded his arms. He cheats by being weird. The kappa huffed, amused. Good. Answer accepted. He turned and scooped water with both hands, whispering to it. The surface shivered. For a breath the river remembered wood. Half-seen beams flickered into place, wet ghost-dark shapes forming the bones of the stolen bridge. Riku's jaw dropped. You're putting it back? Only for a short nap, Yancha said. Walk soft. Don't look down too hard. Water is shy when it pretends. Toy reached with the confidence of someone who had practiced reaching his whole life. His boot found the first ghost plank, then the next. The boards flexed like held breath. Riku stepped where Toy stepped, tail out for balance, muttering a fast prayer to every ancestor who might be listening. Halfway across, the river made a low, contented sound. Toy paused and bowed toward it. Thank you for carrying us, he said. On the far side, the last plank sighed them onto stone. The bridge bones blurred and melted, becoming just river again. Toy turned and called, Yancha! Thank you. The kappa lifted the carved cucumber in salute. Remember, he said, voice echoing oddly. Some bridges come back only for people who walk kindly. Then he sank without a ripple, as if the water had been dreaming him. Riku blew out a breath he'd been saving for an emergency. Okay. Add ghost bridges to the list of things I did not expect to survive today. Toy's boots squelched once, then settled. The shore here felt different, cooler, the air touched by cedar and old stone. A torii gate leaned slightly at the start of a mossy path. Paper wards flapped from the rope like tired moths. They followed the path up. The shrine was small, painted vermilion where the sun could still reach it, the rest worn soft and gray. No one swept here often. Leaves had gathered in the corners like quiet thoughts. Wind chimes made from thin bones, and shells tinkled under the eaves, the notes bright but lonely. Riku hopped onto the veranda and peered inside. "Hello, shrine person. We brought our own good manners." Silence answered, then a faint knocking from within, not of danger, but of something persistent and patient. Toy touched the floorboards with his fingertips. The wood was cool, dust fine as flour on the grain. He found the entrance rope, but the bell above it had been removed. "Whoever lives here hasn't been home in a while," Riku said, nose wrinkling. "Smells like cedar and old ink, and something dry, like wind from a place with no rivers." Toy's hand moved along the lintel and found a hanging charm tucked behind a beam. It was small and smooth, wrapped in black thread. He unwound the thread and felt the object, a carved stone, cool and dense, shaped like a narrow ear or a tapered leaf. Etched lines ran along it, careful, straight, the way a river never is. "What is it?" Riku whispered. Toy traced the lines again. The shape tugged at a story from the edges of childhood. Jackals that weighed hearts, gates that opened to deserts of night. He couldn't name the story, only its taste, iron and incense. "A guardian's ear," he murmured, listening for something heavy. Riku shuffled closer. "Like a watchdog. Maybe." Toy tied the charm to the cord of his cloak beneath his chin. It sat there neatly, not cold anymore. They circled the shrine. Behind it, an offertory box sat under cedar shade. Someone had scratched a short message into the wood with a sharp nail. The grooves were shallow from weather, but Toy's fingers found them the way his hands found doorways. He spelled it slowly. "Ku-ro," he read aloud, uncertain, tasting each syllable. "Kuro." Riku tilted his head. Black, or a name. Toy listened. The wind shifted. For a blink he heard something that wasn't the forest at all. The dry hush of sand running through a narrow gate, a heartbeat measured with a scale. The sound passed, but it left the cedar shadows colder. Riku hugged himself. "Whoever Kuro is, I don't like how the air changes when you say it." Toy faced the trees beyond the shrine. His boots felt a little heavier, as if the ground wanted him to stand still and think before taking the next step. He smiled anyway. "Names can be doors," he said quietly. "Maybe this one is asking us to knock." From the valley, a heron called once, thin as a thread. Leaves tilted and settled. Somewhere past the cedars, past the small shrine with its lonely chimes, something old and black quiet turned its attention toward the boy who walked without looking. Toy touched the charm at his throat. The edges fit his fingers, as if they had been waiting. "Come on," Riku said, voice small but brave. "Let's find whoever wrote that." They started up the path that emptied into deeper shade. Behind them, the river breathed like a sleeping thing. Ahead, the name they had just spoken hung in the air like the promise of a gate.